So this week I'm still deliberating over exactly what I should do with the car and the rust findings of last week, which I will talk about my options. I really felt in need of an easy win, so I've just been working on the subframe and suspension arms, pushing bushes out, cleaning them up, painting them, etc. Reasonably easy task, just make some progress, get a bit of momentum back while I think about my options. Enjoy the episode. So in an effort to make everything as difficult for me as possible, this nut, which is supposed to be captive due to the rust I suppose, is just spinning in this slot and you can't really get anything on there to hold it, so I am just going to weld the nut to the part it's supposed to be captive in, and then it should be easy to just whip this out. Well, that didn't work. Nothing can be easy. Not exactly how I was expecting that to go, but that happens quite frequently. It's never easy. So this week, obviously, I've done a lot of bushing removal. I've got a really cheap, rubbish eBay bushing removal kit, but I ran into a problem straight away with it. The first one I tried to do, I assembled it all, kind of roughly like this, and then just cranked on it as hard as I could to try and push the bushing out, and it would not move. And I ended up stretching the 12mm bar that I was using, and I was thinking, oh dear, this is going to be an ordeal. The bushings are stuck in there, there's no way to get them out. But what I found works is this method, so kind of a hybrid between full bandit method and using something that resembles the proper tool, and that is to push it with the bearing press tool, but use the blowtorch to just heat up around the outside, melt the rubber, and then push everything through much easier. Oh, another piece of advice, don't touch this now. That is a mistake. To give you an idea of the troubles I had getting this off, the bolt and the steel part inside the bushing just have completely fused and become one. So obviously I had to cut both ends off. It's a bit of a mess. Whoop. But that's okay, we'll just press the whole thing out and get a new bolt for there. I didn't take into account the fact that with the bolt in the middle there's no way to actually get the removal tool. In the end, I think this one's just going to get burnt out. While being definitely the smelliest of the available approaches, I would say that the fire method is at least very effective. Because that's out. Here I've just got a few suspension arms that I've cleaned up with the wire wheel. I'm now going to apply the delicious rust milk to them just to get off any, or just to neutralise any remaining rust, and then cut to spray painting these up to protect them, make them look a bit nicer. Here you can just see the before and after of a suspension arm that's been painted. Not quite the finish that you get with a media blast and powder coat, but this is a lot cheaper, and I think that this will be perfectly good for me. Given the current situation that I'm in now, I see three possible ways forward. All have pros and all have cons. The first of these options is to continue with the MX5 as is, repair it, do all of the work required on the inner seals, chasing the rust around, just fix everything and get it back on track. So the pros are that that's the cheapest option and it's the truest to what this series was intended to be, which was repairing that car and getting it back on track. The cons are, I think it will take me a very long time, and there are a few niggles with the car that I was happy to overlook for small repairs, but when I think about putting a huge amount of time in, maybe they're more important. Things like the seat height in the car and kind of how close my head is to the roof, which is maybe a bit dangerous. But all these things could be fixed, I'm sure there's a way to get the seat to go lower. Option 2 would be to get rid of the MX5, scrap it and replace it with a new car. The pros obviously are that will be a pretty quick process. I could just buy a new car, do a service on it, and I'm back on track straight away with very little work required. The cons with that is it seems a bit of a shame to scrap the MX5. The drivetrain's all good, or at least I think it is. You see it driving on track now, and it feels a bit like giving up. The third, final, and I think the most out there choice would be to build an MX5 based kit car, and I have been looking at the MEV or the MEV Exocet. So this one, you unbolt the body of the MX5, which is where all of the rust is. You lift that off, get rid of it, and you just put on the body of the Exocet. You retain all of the engine, drivetrain, subframe, suspension, wheels, everything. So everything from an MX5 still bolts on. You lose quite a lot of weight, so you end up with a very lightweight car. The cons of that are, obviously, you launch into a big project. If I find anything else wrong with the MX5 parts, I'm in a situation where I have to fix that. Probably up there with, just buying a new car levels of price, maybe a bit more, depends exactly how it goes. And depending on how you do it, it may not be road legal, so you need a trailer, etc. So all of those reasons are what I've been thinking about this week and will continue to think about. I don't know which one I'm going to do, if I'm going to do any of them. I really don't know. That's just what's on my mind. Possible options. What do you think? Leave some more fantastic comments. Inspire me on what I should do. And that's all I have this week. Fairly light on action, but it is what it is. This is the reality of working on a project. It does not go perfectly, and we'll just keep plugging away at this and figure out what I'm going to do. So thanks for watching again. And I'll see you next week for probably more of the same, cleaning up the subframe and refurbishing everything.